After studying the concept of FIR filter, next let us move on to the next filter, that is IIR filter. IIR filter stands for Infinite Impulse Response Filter. Now let us try to understand the features and advantages of IIR filter first, and then the disadvantages of the same. The first features or advantages. The first feature is its impulse response is infinite in length. Impulse response is infinite in length. That is nothing but h of n. H of n is infinite in length. Next is, due to no feedback mechanism, the output depends on the past output as well as present input. The output depends on past output as well as present due to feedback mechanism associated with IIR filter structures. Next is the number of coefficients required is less. We require less number of filter coefficients. Next is computational time is less. If the computational time is less, obviously the speed will be more. Lesser the computational time, higher the speed of processing. Next, with respect to memory required is also less. Why memory required is also less? Because of less number of coefficients involved in computation. These are all the features or advantages of the IIR filters. Next, let us discuss with respect to the disadvantages of the same. Coming to the disadvantages of IIR filters, it has only two disadvantages or less number of disadvantages compared to the FIR filter. The first disadvantage is not stable. The primary reason for this disadvantage is due to the feedback mechanism associated. In the case of FIR, it is feed forward filter. It was inherently stable. In this case, it is feedback in nature. The output follows the input. For that purpose, it is not stable. Next is phase characteristics. If you come to the phase characteristics, it is non-linear in nature, and with respect to the group delay, we are not going to get constant group delay. This is the disadvantage. Phase characteristics is non-linear and no constant group delay. Only these are the two disadvantages associated with IIR filter. Now let us try to understand the concept of IIR filter with a simple block diagram, and let us find out the transfer function for the same block diagram. I will write the block diagram and then let us find out the transfer function for the same. I will write the block diagram for the IR filter. This is the block diagram for the considered IR filter, which is feedback in nature. This x of n is the input multiplied with value 0.1 and then it is added with the output value, that is delayed by unit delay. Y of n tends to y of n minus 1 and then multiplied with a value 0.9 and then added with the present input 0.1. Here we are seeing that we are taking the 90% of the past output and 10% of the current input. 90% of the past output and 10% of the current input. With this, let us try to find out the transfer function with the input output condition. Then I can write y of n is equal to 0.9 multiplied with the unit delay function y of n minus 1. I can write 0.9 into y of n minus 1 plus 10% of the input, that is 0.1 into x of n. Output is related to 0.9 y of n minus 1 plus 0.1 into x of n. Then further substituting y of n, I will shift this value to the LHS and 0.9 y of n minus 1 and here 0.1 into x of n. Then in next step, let us try to take the transfer function, taking Z transform. Taking Z transform, I can write y of z minus 0.9 y of z into z to the power minus 1 because of unit delay, and that is equal to 0.1 x of z. For the simplification, taking y of z as common, we are left out with 1 minus 0.9 into z inverse, that is equal to 0.1 into x of z. For transfer function, we know that it is the ratio of output by input. For this, y of z by x of z gives the transfer function. Then y of z by x of z gives the value of 0.1 upon 1 minus 0.9 z. If you further simplify, this becomes 0.1 into z over z minus 0.9. Z inverse is nothing but 1 upon z. If you cross multiply this z which is in denominator, this becomes z, and this denominator z goes to numerator to become 0.1 times of z upon z minus 0.9. Then we have the transfer function x of h of z is equal to 0.1 into z upon z minus 0.9. Now if you substitute the value of z is equal to e power j theta, then I can write h of e power j theta is equal to 0.1 times of e power j theta upon e power j theta minus 0.9. This is the required transfer function. This is the required transfer function. Now in next step we have to plot the magnitude response and phase response for this IR field. Like this the phase response will be there, and like this the magnitude response will be represented for the IIR filter structure. After understanding the concept of both the types of digital filters, one is the FIR filter and the other one IR filter, now let us try to compare the characteristics or parameters of both the filters. We have made 3 columns. First column relates the parameter of the filter, next type of the filter, that is IIR, next is FIR filter. The first parameter is the unit sample response, that is H of n. How this parameter is treated with respect to these two filters? The H of n is infinite in length whereas the H of n is finite in length. The second parameter is phase characteristics. As we all know that the phase characteristics is non-linear in case of IIR filter and linear in case of FIR filter. I can write non-linear in IIR and linear in case of FIR filter. Next parameter is number of multiplications required. Number of multiplications required. IIR requires less number of multiplications, and FIR requires more number of multiplications. The reason for this is in the next parameter, that is number of coefficients, number of filter coefficients required, less in case of IIR and more in case of FIR filter. Okay. Next, fifth point, the complexity involved in the implementation. Complexity in implementation. Due to feedback, more complexity involved here and less complexity involved in FIR. More complex, less complex. Next, processing time. Next parameter is processing time. Processing time or computational time. The computational time required for IIR is less, thereby speed is more. Computational time for FIR is more and speed is less. Speed is less. Next is memory required. Memory required. Obviously, less memory required in case of IIR and more memory is required in FIR. We have left out with another two parameters. I will write from beginning. Next parameter is order of filter. Order of filter. In case of IIR, lower order filter is required. In case of FIR, we need to have higher order filters. Next is stability. IIR is not stable by default. It has to be designed for stability. Not stable. It has to be designed for stability. By default, this type of filters will not be stable. It has to be designed for stability. That is not in the case of FIR filter. In case of FIR filter, they are inherently stable. After knowing the difference between these two with respect to the some of the parameters, last one is application, where the IIR filters are used and where the FIR filters are used. It is applications. IIR filters are used where we require sharp cutoff frequency with minimum order filter or lower order filter. Used where sharp cutoff frequencies are required with minimum order field. In case of FIR filters, we are going to use FIR in particular where we require linear phase response characteristics with constant group delay is required. Used where linear phase characteristics is essential, and also with constant group delay. This completes the comparison of the IIR filter and FIR filter. After learning the concepts of digital filters, next let us move on to the new concept, that is sampling rate conversion techniques. Next concept is sampling rate conversion techniques. This is also known as multi-rate sampling rate conversion techniques. Multi-sampling rate. The reason for converting the sampling rate is followed by an example. That is, I am going to give an example of the need for converting the sampling rate. For example, the lecture I am giving is being recorded in the video camera. This device will be having some sampling rate. Okay. After the recording is been done, the same video will be viewed in another device, let us say in a system or in a DVD player. That device is going to follow a different sampling rate. Here we are considering two devices. Device A is the video recorder, device B is the video which is going to be displayed in a DVD player with the help of a DVD player. We have device A, video recorder, and device B is a DVD player. The sampling rate of this device A will be different, that is FS1, that follows some different sampling rate with the sampling rate followed by the DVD player. For example, let us consider FS1 will be equal to 44.1 kilohertz and FS2 as 48 kilohertz. Now we are having two different sampling rates. If the sampling rates are different, then it is impossible to view the proper output in the monitor. In order to overcome this situation, we need to perform an operation called as sampling rate conversion. We need to perform the sampling rate conversion with some conversion techniques. That conversion techniques followed in the DSP processing system are decimation and interpolation. Decimation and interpolation are the two sampling rate conversion techniques. Decimation is the first sampling rate conversion technique, and second one is interpolation. These are the two sampling rate conversion techniques. Further, following with respect to this example, next, if you try to factorize these two sampling rates, 44.1 kilohertz can be written in terms of hertz like this, and 48,000. device A frequency, device B frequency. If you factorize this value, that gives if you further factorize, you will get and finally we get 0.9. What type of information we are going to get from this result? This result says that we have to decimate by a factor of m, that is given with a value of 160, and the same time we have to interpolate by a factor of L with the value of 147. In order to view the proper output in the monitor, we need to perform two operations for two different sampling rates. One is performing decimation by a factor of m by a value 160, and simultaneously you have to perform interpolation by a factor L with value 147. If you perform these two operations, then we are going to get the proper output in the monitor. Now let us try to understand the concept of decimation first in detail, then we can understand the concept of interpolation after deci. Means to reduce. Here what we have to reduce? We have to reduce the sampling rate. Before reducing the sampling rate, we should take care of the sampling theorem condition, that is with respect to the Nyquist rate. Simply we can't reduce the sampling rate without any proper conditions. Prior conditions to be taken with respect to the decimation are, we have to follow the sampling rate theorem. That condition has to be met. Without violating the sampling theorem, we should not decimate. That is the answer for proper sampling rate conversion. That means we have to take care of the sampling rate condition. For example, if we have a sampling rate Fs is equal to 30 kilohertz, the sampled rate is 30 kilohertz, and whose highest frequency component is 10 kilohertz. 10 kilohertz. For this 10 kilohertz, the sampling rate should be equal to 20 kilohertz from Nyquist rate, twice the highest frequency component. But here we are already having, the signal is already been sampled at 30 kilohertz. That is, with respect to the Nyquist rate, it is 10 kilohertz oversampled. 10 kilohertz oversampled. For this 30 kilohertz, the Nyquist rate is 15 kilohertz. The double of 15 is 30. The highest frequency component for this sampling rate frequency is 15 kilohertz. Now, for this highest frequency component for this signal is 10 kilohertz. For this case is 5 kilohertz. The difference is 10 to 15 is 5 kilohertz. The difference. That means we have to reject or attenuate or remove the 5 kilohertz excess from this frequency component. Okay? If you perform this dropping of samples from 10 to 5 kilohertz, then it is properly sampled and we have not violated the sampling theorem condition. That means the excess 5 kilohertz frequency component has to be filtered out before sampling or before reducing the sampling rate. How to do so? How to remove the 5 kilohertz frequency component? That means before performing the downsampling, we have to first pass this signal through a digital low pass filter to remove the high frequency component, that is excess. Then we can reduce the sampling rate. For this, I can write the block diagram as x of n is first passed through a digital low pass filter, then it is passed through a downsampler. Then we get the output y of first pass the input signal through a digital low pass filter in order to remove the excess frequency component, that is m with respect to fs. Then we are going to perform downsample, that is fs by m. Fs by m. After passing through the low pass filter, the proper frequency component are present, then we can reduce the sampling rate to get the output y of n, which is represented in terms of y of n, that is equal to summation k is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity x of n minus k. Y of n is equal to k is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity bk x of n minus k, filter coefficient. For this, we have to in advance we have to get the filtered sequence w of n, filtered sequence w of n. Then we are going to get the output for the decimation process. The effect of the decimation is the effects of decimation. First effect is reduced computation, reduced processing cost is less, and reduced memory, we require less memory, reduced. These are the three effects of decimation. One, we have less computational time, the processing cost is less, and memory required is also less.